What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, December 21st, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 12:44 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from around the world. I want to just first turn your attention towards the Czech Republic. Apparently, there was a shooting this morning, and 10 people have been killed and 11 seriously wounded at a Prague university before police eliminated the shooter. Czech police said shortly after 3 p.m. local time that they were responding to the shooting at Charles University's Faculty of Arts building in the Jan Palach Square before reporting that the shooter had been eliminated. The Prague Emergency Services Department said on social platform X that 11 people had been killed, including the gunman, and 11 were seriously wounded. Gun crime is relatively rare in the Czech Republic. In December 2019, a 42-year-old gunman killed 6 people at a hospital waiting room in the eastern Czech city of Ostrava before fleeing and fatally shooting himself. So the last shooting in the Czech Republic was 4 years ago, okay? Guys, to me, this is clearly a terror attack. And what you're looking at here is a picture of some students hiding on the ledge of this building so the shooter wouldn't see them. This is really, really sad. Right before Christmas, I don't think this is a coincidence. I think this was a terror attack right before Christmas. Very sad situation. Please pray for the families of those that have been lost and also for the wounded. Guys, we are living in the end times. There's no doubt about it. This is absolutely insane. And the EU warned that there would be terror attacks, and also the FBI, DHS, and National Counterterrorism Center also warned that there would be terror attacks this coming holiday season. Okay, we had that weird situation right before Thanksgiving at Niagara Falls where somebody drove their vehicle through a border crossing on the eve of Thanksgiving. Yeah, very strange. And now we have this. So, guys, be on high alert. Tomorrow's going to be a busy travel day. And then we have New Year's next week. Please be on high alert. Try to avoid obvious terror target areas. And I want to just show you guys a video that was sent to me by a source near Offutt Air Base. Okay. And it shows a B-1 nuclear bomber flying over the Omaha, Nebraska area. You can see those wings. It's impossible to mistake. And this thing was flying with its transponder off. There was also an E-4 presidential doomsday plane flying with its transponder off yesterday at the same time as this B-1, and then also an E-6, a nuclear war command and control plane, was also in the air at the same time as all these other ones. Okay, so this is very concerning, guys. We have nuclear warplanes flying with their transponders off. And apparently, U.S. military commanders presented Biden with military options that include an extensive air operation targeting the Houthis' manufacturing plants and weapons depots in northern Yemen. And last night, there were some reports of a massive explosion in northern Yemen, in Marib, Yemen. Apparently, an ammo dump exploded. Now, I don't know if this was part of the U.S. military operation or not, or if this is just a rumor and it's fake news. I have no idea, but social media went wild late last night with reports of an explosion. I thought for sure that the operation was going to begin, but so far today it's quiet. Now we have a lot of emergency action messages today. So we'll have to wait and see, guys. This operation against Yemen could start any hour, any day. And I mean, I just hope that they wait until after Christmas so at least our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines can spend the holiday with their families before all hell breaks loose, because all hell will break loose when we strike Yemen. Iran is going to get involved, Hezbollah is going to get involved, and apparently the US, Great Britain, France, and Germany are asking their citizens to leave Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen immediately. Okay, so they're expecting the whole Middle East to basically turn into a war zone. And the defense minister of Israel, Yoav Gallant, said Israel will not tolerate attacks on southern Israel from Yemen, and that the Israeli Navy and Air Force are ready to carry out any order. Okay, so he was warning Yemen. He was warning Yemen, listen, if you keep attacking us, we're going to go in and do things. We're not going to wait for Biden. We're not going to wait for the UN. And I want to just show you guys this map here provided by Schizo Intel. And here you can see the location of all of our warships in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. You can see a whole bunch here near the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. Look at all these warships, guys. This is insane. Okay. So I do believe Operation Prosperity Guardian will begin any day. Any day, guys. They continue to attack these ships, and the Red Sea is a critical route for shipping. Okay, it affects the entire world when these ships are getting attacked here. It affects the global economy. Okay, so Biden has to do something. He can't just sit back and do nothing. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, with Biden, I don't trust him. You know, seeing the way that he's been handling everything so far, I don't trust him at all. But we have some strange activity over the Arabian Peninsula. Last night, we had this unnamed plane fly from the capital of Saudi Arabia down near Yemen. It had no call sign and no information. Everything was blocked. And then just like an hour after it landed somewhere down here close to Yemen, it flew back. Also, no information. Everything was blocked. And then we had an RC-135 rivet joint flying over Saudi Arabia, which is very unusual. And this could be the U.S. gathering information on Yemen right before they launch their big strike. Okay, because I haven't seen an RC-135 doing loops over central Saudi Arabia. Usually they're out in the Persian Gulf or somewhere else, but not in the middle of the desert here. So they were probably trying to gather intel on Yemen and collect information for targeting. And here we have another strange flight with no call sign and everything blocked out. This was actually a Lockheed Martin C-130J 30 Super Hercules, and it flew from Cyprus towards the Sinai Peninsula, and then it shut its transponder off, but it was heading down towards the Red Sea. Now, if I'm not mistaken, these planes can carry special ops, these C-130Js, but I could be wrong, but I know one of the C-130s, or many of them, are used by U.S. Tier 1 operators, but it went down right towards the Red Sea and then shut its transponder off. And then here we have some more interesting flights. We had an RQ-4 Global Hawk by the name of Forte 14, which I've never seen before, and it flew directly towards the Red Sea. It went around the Sinai Peninsula, and then it went down right here, and then it shut its transponder off somewhere in this area right before reaching the Red Sea. And then we had these two planes fly from Bahrain and Riyadh towards the Red Sea coast here. Okay, a U.S. Navy C-130T, and then some other plane that had its information blocked. Okay, so it looks like we're pre-positioning everything before the big strike. That's what it looks like to me. We're sending an RQ-4 down there. We got the RC-135. We have these other planes with their transponders turned off. And also, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is going to be making an unexpected visit in D.C. Apparently, his plane landed in D.C. yesterday afternoon, and intense discussions are expected, but the specific agenda remains a secret. So, guys, I can't remember the last time that Lavrov visited the U.S. Okay, very, very concerning for him to suddenly visit the U.S. right after we announced that we're going to launch this big operation to keep the Red Sea open. Okay, so something's brewing, guys. I don't know what it is, but something's brewing. And then we have all the threats from Israel towards Hezbollah. Israel warning Hezbollah that we're going to go in and we're going to go and push them back from the border. The situation with Hezbollah is continuing to escalate. Here we have some video footage coming out this morning from southern Lebanon, and the Israeli Air Force is launching more strikes on southern Lebanon. You can see the smoke plumes here coming out from those airstrikes, massive smoke plumes. Okay, so very intense activity. So, very intense bombing by Israel in southern Lebanon. And Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that stopping the bloodshed in Gaza is our primary task at the Arab Russian Cooperation Forum. This was yesterday on the 20th. He met with a whole bunch of leaders from the Middle East. And this is very concerning, guys, because this is like coming right out of the Bible. The Bible says that Russia would make an alliance with all these different Middle Eastern countries and they would turn against Israel. And that's what we're seeing right here. Okay, we're seeing representatives from North Africa, from various Middle Eastern Muslim nations here, joining forces with Russia. Russia is backing them up. And, it's just looking like Bible prophecy is unfolding right before our eyes. This could be the beginnings of the Ezekiel 38 and 39 war when Russia and all the Middle Eastern Muslim nations invade and attack Israel. And this update was sponsored by Patriot Supply. Guys, they have brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you have to use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. And this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life, and it's all contained within 6 rugged, watertight buckets, so it doesn't take up a lot of space. Free shipping included, 25% off their normal price. Use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get the discount. They also have a 2-week emergency food supply, which is excellent for outdoorsmen or people who go vehicle camping. They also have a general store. If you click the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithNYPrepper.com, it'll take you to their general store where they have everything you can imagine, from potassium iodide to water filters, solar generators, solar panels, survival seeds, fire starters, anything you can imagine, it's all there. So use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month freeze-dried food supply. And the link is in the description below this video. And the Norwegian shipping company Hogue Autoliners announced that it has suspended shipping operations through the Red Sea after the Norwegian Maritime Administration raised the threat level to the highest level. Okay, so that would be, I believe, the 8th or 9th shipping company that is no longer going to send ships through the Red Sea. And Reuters is reporting that Denmark is going to join the U.S. coalition to protect vessels in the Red Sea, okay, Operation Prosperity Guardian. And an Israeli military chief of staff told reservists recently that there will be a lot of action in the coming year in the country's north along the border with Lebanon. I'm telling you guys, after they're done with Hamas, which is going to be in the coming weeks, probably sometime in January, once they're done with Hamas, they're going to go into Lebanon. That's going to be the next thing. They've warned Hezbollah multiple times, and they've warned the UN that Hezbollah is not abiding by the UN agreement. They're supposed to be 6 miles from the Israeli border, and the Israeli military said, "Listen, if you guys don't enforce this UN order, this UN security agreement, we're going to go and do it ourselves. We're going to push them away from our border." And apparently, there were some unusual road closures and evacuations in northern Israel announced earlier this morning. This was reported by I-24 News. An unusually large amount of road closures in Israel's north and at least 15 communities on lockdown. Apparently, roads were closed and residents were urged to stay off the roads. So the situation's escalating between Hezbollah and Israel, guys. And the Israeli Defense Forces will be moving more troops into southern Gaza from northern Gaza. The Israeli army says it launched more airstrikes on Hezbollah sites in Lebanon, and Israeli heavy artillery targeted several sites in southern Lebanon earlier today. And Palestinian radio is reporting intense bombardment by Israeli Navy ships on the beaches of southern Israel in Rafah and Khan Yunis, and the prospects for an exchange deal involving the release of more hostages in Gaza remains uncertain after Hamas said it would not discuss anything less than a complete end to Israel's offensive in Gaza. The Hamas group's most senior political leader, Ismail Haniyeh, visited Egypt on Wednesday for talks with Egyptian officials seeking to mediate another truce, but the meeting ended without results, a Palestinian official told the BBC. The White House said the negotiations were very serious and we hope that they lead somewhere, but Tahir al-Nono, Haniyeh's media advisor, said Hamas was not willing to discuss releasing more Israeli hostages until Israel ended its military campaign in Gaza and the volume of humanitarian aid to Palestinian civilians increased. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appeared to rule out a ceasefire as he vowed on Wednesday that Israel would continue its war against Hamas to the end. Okay, so it looks like no deal in sight, guys. No deal in sight between Hamas and Israel. Hamas wants a unilateral ceasefire, which is not going to happen. They don't want to give up any hostages. They want a unilateral ceasefire at this point. Israel ordered the evacuation of large areas of southern Gaza's main city on Wednesday, the UN said. Israel released maps showing new areas covering about 20% of Khan Yunis that had been marked for evacuation. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said. And Emmanuel Macron said in an interview with France 5 that we cannot let the idea take root that an efficient fight against terrorism implies to flatten Gaza or attack civilian populations indiscriminately. What a moron. He's such an idiot. The Chinese army said we conducted strategic military consultations in Beijing with Russia. Very concerning, guys. The Chinese army saying they conducted strategic military consultations in Beijing with Russia. Very serious, guys. China's President Xi Jinping met with Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin in Beijing on Wednesday. Xi praised the growth of bilateral trade between the two countries, which reached a record $200 billion in the first 11 months of 2023. According to the official readout, Xi said developing China-Russia relations is a strategic choice made by both sides based on the fundamental interests of the two peoples. And Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi warned the Philippines to address through dialogue what China sees as serious difficulties in their relations over the South China Sea, where incidents between vessels from the two sides have escalated. Wang told his Philippine counterpart, Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, in a phone call on Wednesday that if the Southeast Asian nation misjudges or colludes with ill intentioned external forces in the disputed waters, China would defend its rights and respond resolutely, according to a statement by China's foreign ministry. All right, so China is threatening the Philippines. Okay, the Chinese foreign minister is threatening the Philippine foreign minister and telling them not to get involved with the U.S. This is serious, guys. Things are truly escalating around the world. North Korea's state media, the KCNA, released a commentary that stated that upcoming South Korean and United States nuclear drills will be considered a declaration of war. And we do know that the US, Japan, and South Korea will be doing nuclear war exercises in the coming weeks, and they've been doing nuclear war exercises. So this is very serious, guys. Okay. North Korea, they're thinking that they're untouchable now because they have this new missile that's solid fueled, and they know that Biden is weak. So, we could see North Korea attack South Korea or do something crazy, some kind of artillery strike or something. Emmanuel Macron did not rule out inviting Putin to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the Normandy landings in 2024 if the situation changes. And the United States has a clear plan for Ukraine's future development that does not require funding at current levels. This was stated by Secretary of State Antony Blinken. And companies from the US, Europe, and Asia continue to supply the Russian arms industry with components for the production of tanks, says the insider. And Armenia has suspended the broadcasting license of the Russian propaganda radio station Sputnik Armenia. Very interesting. And there was another mysterious house explosion in Florida last night. Apparently, this one was in West Park. The explosion happened around 12:30 a.m. at a home in the 5200 block of Southwest 20th Street. Broward Sheriff fire rescue crews responded and found extensive damage to the home. And the Kremlin claimed that Ukraine withdrew from peace negotiations with Russia in 2022 at Britain's insistence. The Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said. He added that the UK forbade negotiations with Russia, and apparently Ukrainian forces are turning their attention to strengthening their defensive positions along much of the front line, according to UK's Ministry of Defense. In its daily intelligence briefing, the UK Ministry of Defense said the move allows Zelensky's calls from late November 2023 for faster fortification in key sectors. And Russia launched its fifth air attack this month targeting Kyiv, Ukrainian military officials have said. Ukraine's Air Force said air defense systems destroyed 18 out of 19 attack drones launched at Kyiv, Odessa, Kherson, and other regions of Ukraine. So the situation in Ukraine is continuing to spiral out of control. I reported a few days ago that Zelensky is going to be drafting 500,000 troops, and Putin announced in his end of the year press conference that he was preparing 617,000 troops. Okay, guys, that is staggering. That is double the amount of troops that have already been committed to this war. So looks like 2024 is going to be do or die for Zelensky and for Putin, because there could be a new administration here in the US. There could be a different president, and that different president may have a different approach to both Ukraine and Russia. Okay, so time is ticking for both Zelensky and Russia and Putin to make their big moves. And also, Putin and Zelensky are up for re-election. They're on the chopping block. So both Russians and Ukrainians may want a change in leadership. So they're going to want to prove that, they're strong leaders. And Argentina's new leader, Javier Milei, on Wednesday unveiled a series of measures to deregulate the country's struggling economy, eliminating or changing more than 300 rules via presidential decree, including on rent and labor practices. The goal is to start along the path to rebuilding the country and start to undo the huge number of regulations that have held back and prevented economic growth, Milei said in a televised speech from the presidential palace, flanked by his cabinet. Latin America's third biggest economy is on its knees after decades of debt and financial mismanagement, with inflation surpassing 160% year on year and 40% of Argentinians living in poverty. Wow, guys. And apparently, massive protests are breaking out in Argentina. I want to just show you guys something interesting that I came across. Russia has been building some kind of round disc in Kaliningrad, close to the Polish border. And here you can see this object being constructed. What this is, I have no idea. But this is right near Poland and Lithuania. I don't know if this is a storage facility for nuclear waste, but you can see here this construction started in 2022, late 2022, and it's basically almost complete now, this round disc. This thing is just really strange. What do you think that is, guys? If you have any ideas, let me know. And you can see here this picture was taken June 26th of this year. So I don't know what this is, guys. If you have any ideas, let me know. But this is where it's located in eastern Kaliningrad, close to Lithuania and Poland. Okay, right here. And there is a big military airfield nearby near Chernyakovsk. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll keep you guys updated. I will be putting out more updates later on today. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell below so you get notified when I post these emergency updates. And until the next one, take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.